Hello again. There was a time when the English used by the BBC, relayed around the world by radio, was regarded as the gold standard of usage for the language. There are stories of people living in the colonies who learnt to speak English in this way by listening to broadcasts on the wireless and acquired beautiful accents as a consequence of doing so. Things are, of course, a little different these days, and correct pronunciation and precise grammar are both seen by the BBC as being elitist. They would rather use the demotic language of those who will be listening. This accounts for the fact that the broadcasts and internet sites aimed by the BBC at Africa are in Pidgin English rather than the standard form of the language with which we are most of us familiar. Sometimes, though, you can pick up interesting stories from the Pidgin English service, such as the item to which I give a link in the description to this video. The headline reads as follows: "Why dem tell this man say he no be British citizen after 42 years he lived for UK?" It goes on to explain that one retired 74-year-old Ghanaian man wey done lived for UK for nearly 50 years must wait for 10 years before the Home Office go let am fit stay permanently for the country. Nelson Shadi wey come from Wallersley for Wirral for many years been assumed say him officially done become British citizen. He only discover say no be so for 2019 after he done pay taxes all him adult life. Now he must pay thousands of pounds to stay and to use the National Health Scheme. The Home Office done refused to comment on the ongoing legal case. You see what I mean about the BBC regarding standard English as elitist. This is an interesting story, though, and I found details about it elsewhere in more easily understood form. It seems that in 1977 a young man came to this country from Ghana to study here. He had a student visa. When it expired, he simply remained here, and ever since he has lived and worked in Britain. He has never applied for citizenship, though, and it wasn't until he applied for a passport that he says that he found out unexpectedly that he was not a British citizen. His family are taking legal action against the Home Office because they say that he has somehow been treated unfairly, but I don't see this at all. If you settle down to live in somebody else's country without permission and are somehow overlooked for years and not deported, that hardly gives you a right to stay there forever and become a citizen, does it? It just means that you have been a pretty cunning illegal immigrant, and I cannot for the life of me see why this should be rewarded with a British passport. In the description to this video I also give a piece about this from a local newspaper in the north of England. It is as plain as a pikestaff that this man knew that he didn't have permission to remain in this country and simply hoped to be overlooked and forgotten about, which was of course what happened. I still don't see why that means he should be given British citizenship. Perhaps I'm missing something here.